Yo, what's up, guys? This is Chase with the Hanging With Azarian podcast, episode number 5. We're dropping them on Wednesdays now. This episode, I'm with Johnny. Me and Johnny talk about trying to avoid binge eating during the holiday season, some astrology talk in there, and even starting a podcast and why we're doing what we're doing. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode, and I hope you guys enjoy the holiday season. Thanks. Appreciate you. I wasn't supposed to record this podcast today, to put it lightly.
Not your fault, by the way.
It was a misunderstanding, mostly on Johnny's part.
From my part, I'll say that.
I had planned to have Johnny on tomorrow because I've been on Johnny's podcast. We'll get into that in a sec for sure. But I was like, I did all the work I had to do. You know, I have work later tonight, so I have a couple hours. Maybe I'll take a little nap. So I go to put my head on the pillow, and I hear like this knock, this really loud knock. And I was like, is this the guy that's supposed to fix my fan that I've been waiting for a week on this maintenance? And I show up, and there's Johnny right there.
Could fix your fan.
Hey, could you?
I don't know.
Okay, I thought Justin could fix my fan, but he couldn't. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is Johnny. Johnny, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on, man. I really appreciate it. I mean, I'm glad I can return the favor. Thanks for coming on my podcast again.
Yeah, of course. It was the right thing to do, I think.
Dude, I just love talking, and dude, even just talking to you about stuff, it's enlightening for me. So Enlightening.
You're stroking my ego, man. I don't know about that.
Nah, bro, yeah, we see a lot of good point of views from each other, but we also differ. But that's a good thing about it, like just conversations. So that's why I like having those things on the podcast. So, dude, I love this. I love the setup, everything, man.
Thanks, appreciate that for sure. So on Johnny's podcast, we talked a little bit about like weight loss and stuff because we both had weight loss transformation in our lives. So that's something we definitely have in common. And the original plan for the podcast was to do like a filmmaking episode, then a fitness episode, then a business episode. I kind of just went without the routine, and I'm kind of just mixing them as I go. So this is the first, like, I guess, fitness-ish focused one. I'm sure we'll get into other stuff, but I think it's a really interesting time because we both lost the weight. I think this episode's going to be dropping on Wednesday. We're switching to Wednesdays now. If you were waiting for those Friday episodes, it's Wednesdays now. So this is the Wednesday right before Christmas. I mean, we all know how that usually goes. Holiday season, once like the Thanksgiving to Christmas Day, more like New Year's Day thing, is just this binge eating disorder month. Bad for everybody. And I was like, okay, maybe this is a good time to bring Johnny on. Yeah, and maybe in a way plan for those types of things, like just talk about getting back on the grind, I guess. So before we even get into that, what is if you want to give a brief, like the Spark Notes version of your weight loss journey in a way?
Yeah, dude. Okay, so pretty much like anybody who really wants to change it, kind of like finds their own excuse to do it. And I think my excuse was, getting out of a relationship. And I guess you can really try to find a definition to what is happiness. But people that are in a relationship tend to gain a little bit more weight.
Yeah.
And, people think that's happy. And, I was happy in the relationship, but at the same time, it just felt so weird for me to kind of keep going in my life and stuff and not feel good about myself. You know what I mean? And I think that's what kind of sparked my weight loss journey. And I was always an active kid, but at the same time, you have those insecurities and stuff. And I think those are the type of things that I wanted to really perfect, not really perfect, but get better, And finally, it was like 2018, sort of. That's whenever I started like grinding, and I was like, all right, out of the relationship. I was like, nah, man, I want to look good. I want to be presented by everything that all the ideals that I thought were good for a person. That's what I wanted to do. It's like leading by example per se. So I started from that, and pretty much 6 months I found intermittent fasting. I found great ways to I don't know, eat better, and in turn it made me think that I was doing keto, and we can get into that later on, but that's what kind of sparked all this like journey, and it made me feel better. It made me feel a lot healthier, but also I had so much more energy to go do things, and from there it just kind of like I wanted to share that. So there's different ways to do it. Obviously, like we both kind of found those sort of similarities. That's why I like talking to you about it. So that's the best way to summarize it,
Okay, sweet. And what do you think, going off of that, which we'll get into the Christmas thing in a second, what changed in your life specifically, like related to food after you lost the weight? Like, did you feel more flexible in your dieting? Did you become even more strict in the dieting?
So
like, what did that look like?
Okay, so to kind of chime on that, I want to talk about the intermittent fasting part, because whenever I was doing that, I really didn't care what I was eating. I just ate from one window to window. You know what I mean?
Didn't even count calories.
No, I didn't do any of that. And I remember we talked about that on my podcast, but I didn't do any like sort of like deficits. It just kind of was like I was just eating from this time to this time, and that's what kind of like brought me to intermittent fasting. That's what kind of got me to that. But later on, that's when I started realizing that I like certain foods, and I like cooking. I like cooking for myself. That's what kind of brought up the idea of keto. And I'm not saying like keto is like the best way to do anything. There's so many fads, so many diets, and that's what kind of like really got me back on track. Was like, heck yeah, I can make my salmon. I can make steaks. I can make a lot more healthier choices, just because now I was getting more into like the micro stuff. And then that's once I started looking into that, that's when I started looking into the amount of calories that I was taking in.
Gotcha.
And stuff like that.
Just so you can measure like grams of protein, carbs, all that kind of stuff.
Yes, because I started doing carb cycling after the fact, and I was like, I like carbs, but do I want to like get rid of it? And then you kind of start realizing like sacrifices. Like you're like, I like to drink, but I don't drink all that time, and so right there you're like, yeah, I can save it for the weekend. I can do this, and it gives me that flexibility and freedom to do that stuff. So I think finding that balance of like, you like these certain things and you want to keep having them in your day-to-day lives to kind of have like social gatherings and stuff like that, and still feel good about it. Still feel good that like even after I eat this pizza, I can easily go to the gym because of the discipline I've already established for myself.
Right.
But that's on the fitness side, yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, I kind of like what you talked about with sacrifice. I think sacrifice is the key word. Sacrifice is really for anything that you're trying to strive for. Like I realized that. Like with starting this business stuff, the more momentum I get is when I sacrifice more of my free time. And the same thing kind of goes with weight loss, where it's sacrificing not only time for the gym, but your favorite food, not drinking too much alcohol. And the reason I want to talk more about avoiding a bounce back to weight loss in a way is because I gained probably like 8 pounds over the past 3 months, which isn't like a ton,
no,
you know?
But you feel it, yeah.
But I felt like not bad, because I was eating whatever the fuck I wanted, but I was still working out kind of like a maniac, so it was kind of balancing out. But it got to the point I was like, okay, I'm giving myself until Christmas, not to pig out, but like be slightly more lenient, you know, like have probably 300-400 more calories than I should, have a beer every once in a while.
Right.
But yeah, I'm going for the full shred, I think, for summertime.
Yeah. Did you feel like you plateaued? Like, because that was a thing, like where people kind of feel like they get there and then they're like, I hit a plateau even after my certain like 6 months, and then after that I kind of like, okay, but I was coming to Disney.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was like around the time when I was like transitioning over here. So it was colder. You know, I was eating a lot more like bread. I was eating a lot more stuff. So. It's okay. It's just I think the acknowledgement, even of the discipline of like working out, I think that's what kind of gets us back to like, nah, we can get through this.
Yeah, it's time to get the shit together. Type deal. Yeah.
Is that how you're feeling, sort of?
I don't know, like in a way, but I don't know if I'd use plateau as the right word. Right. It was more like
I just got that.
Yeah, no. But it was kind of like this. I had 185 on my mind the entire time I was losing weight. So once I hit 183, I was kind of like, okay, now let me try and intentionally plateau. And I upped my calories a bit. I was maintaining at like 185 for a little bit. And then I kind of just dropped, not fully counting calories, but I would count calories, and then later on in the night, if I was with my friends, I'd end up drinking more than I was supposed to. I'd end up eating like a drunk food type deal. So with stuff like that I wasn't counting, that accumulated over time to gain a couple pounds, like I am still in some of the best shape I've been in ever. So it's, at the end of the day, it's not like I gained all of it back and then some. It's very just a time where I was like, let me just relax on this for a bit.
Right.
But now I'm at the point where I'm like, no, I kind of like, because this past week I've really been on top of my shit. I've really went harder in the gym than I ever have. Started doing the counting every single calorie again. And I just feel like within, I shit you not, a day, I felt way better.
Literally.
So did you, when you first lost the weight, did you have any experience of maybe bouncing back a little bit like that? Like, do you remember, because you said you moved to Florida and it kind of happened that way, but was there a second point in your life where you're like, nah, I gotta stop this shit again and kind of get back on my grind, if that makes sense?
Yeah. See, and that's the thing. I wouldn't even say it's a bad thing, like to say like it happens in a relationship, but it does sometimes. Like I got into somewhat a relationship when I got here, and you want to go eat out, you want to kind of have those kind of like nice dinners, and it after a while it kind of like accumulates, you know. And and I think it was like in that moment, I think I was kind of seeing that, oh man, am I gaining weight again, knowing that I did all this hard work and then I'm losing it again? But I think that's what kind of like got me to get back on that, like get back on track, was that alone. I was like, I think you just look at yourself and say, fuck, am I okay with this? Am I not? And that was like last year whenever that happened. And I was like, nah, I need to get back into place. I need to get back into this grind. And that was like around like May or June last year, whenever I was like, summer's coming, that whole idea of like hitting that summer body is coming up. So I was like, yeah, this is the time to do it. And I had the money and I wanted to get into like new sort of like ideas. And I was like, I actually want to get into like MMA. I want to get into like,
oh shit, I didn't know you do MMA.
I bought like a 3-month thing at this place called The Jungle, and what's so funny is that I'm having somebody come on next week. We're going to talk about that, like talking about he's from the same gym that I worked out at, and I was like, oh my god, this is so much fun. But it was just a new way to implement fitness. You know what I mean? So I still worked out, I still did everything, and I wanted to add these new sort of ways that I can try to like be like wanting to get back into it, because I keep doing is the same thing over and over again. I think it kind of like gets a little stale. You know what I mean?
No, I definitely feel that.
And so I felt like that with fitness. So that's why I think I felt like I plateaued a little bit. And I think it was also the lifestyle. Like I think it was the lifestyle of like the transitioning of coming to Florida. It was just trying to figure out my hours, especially as a DCP member. Like you're just working these crappy,
Disney's grinding your ass out.
100%, bro. So like I'm trying to figure out where and what time I can work out, and if I even have the energy to do it, you know. And yes, I can make time for it, but at the same time, it's like, fuck, I want to go have fun. I want to go do all these things, and it's just at that. I think it was that next point where it was at that secondary plateau where I was like, okay, I need to get back in shape, and so I did. And I think, but once you already figured out that discipline to get to the gym, I think it comes a lot more natural. You know, it comes easier for somebody when you already have that in the back of your mind that you want to get better. So that reason alone, I think that's what kind of helped me, you know?
No, I like how you mentioned that I think discipline is the thing that... Right. We talked about this on your podcast, where it's the defining factor of everything. Business, fitness, whatever. And working out and doing nutrition is really... Like, everyone thinks you need to do a ton of research. And there's stuff out there, but at the end of the day, everybody knows how to lose weight.
1,000%.
You eat less, you eat better, you get moving every day. It's really not a crazy formula. So,
no.
Were you always a disciplined person, or was that something you had to force yourself to develop when you were going on a transformation journey?
Bro, you played sports, right?
I played soccer and football growing up.
But you had like a coach, right? And you had,
yeah.
And it was. I think
they weren't letting us just run around the field.
Yeah. But yeah, it was easier with the coach, bro. Like, it was easier to, like, they tell you what to do. It's kind of like that whole, you can find that whole self-discipline in yourself, but that I didn't know at the time. I think it was already set for me, you know? And so when you get older, you start having to figure that out for yourself. If you're not in these sort of active things like social groups or anything like that that keeps you active, you have to find that inner kind of discipline in yourself. And I wouldn't say I was always like that. I just always had like a teacher per se to kind of tell me that, and I was always kind of on that sort of side. And yeah, I think one of the best things for me, like outside of like all that was just on me, was dancing, and that's what always kept me sort of like from getting too big.
And Johnny can dance, people. I've seen the videos. You gotta check out the videos. This man's got some moves right here.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I just love dancing, man. I love it. But that was my own self-discipline. That's what kind of got me to like, heck yeah, dude. I can lose weight, or I'm getting a good sweat doing this shit.
Absolutely.
So I guess I would say is my first self-discipline. But all throughout my life, I played sports, and I've always had that like role model, I guess. Even my brother, he played a big key role into that shit. So I was like, man, I love this idea. Like, everything's kind of like set for me. But then once you get out of high school, what then? Like, you're gonna have to find that yourself.
Yeah.
So I think that's the best way I can explain that.
No, definitely. And I feel. Even I wasn't really motivated playing sports, honestly. I was kind of like the fuck around kid. Like I got okay at soccer as I got older, and like I made some goals and shit, and that was cool. And I was good at defense for a little bit amount of time. Then I played football. I was pretty ass at football, but you ever see the movie Invincible?
1000%.
Yes. Yeah, I sacked Vince Papali's son 3 times though. The only sacks I had that season, his fucking son. I sacked him 3 times, little Vinny Papali. And that felt
in
cool.
real life.
In real life, yeah. What you mean?
Shit,
not in like
awesome.
Madden, yeah.
No, but I mean, like, I'm like, okay, where's he going with this? Oh, this son.
Oh, yeah, no.
You played with him? That's
because of course, the Philly guy, man.
Yeah, no.
Cherry Hill, whatever. And yeah. So bottom line, I was bad at sports. I was the kid I missed in 5th grade the championship of whatever the fuck the 5th grade championship is of basketball. My school growing up was so good that it was our A team versus our B team. They didn't even call it varsity JV. It was A team versus B team. Somehow I'm in the last seconds of the B team on basketball, bro.
Yeah.
I haven't made a shot all season. They give my ass the ball. I shoot for the buzzer beater. If it goes in, we win. If it doesn't, we lose. Airball. so that sums up my like athletic career. Like I wasn't really good at sports. Like ball coordination, not my shit. But once I got into football, I loved
it.
I loved weightlifting.
Oh, weightlifting, okay.
Some people hate weightlifting. I never understood that point of logic. I fucking adore it. I just feel so good. Like I just imagine someone trying to come up to me, and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, let me bang out these girls. Yeah, it feels awesome to me, and so that's my main source of working out. Like I know it's a lot of people's main source, but I love weightlifting. I don't enjoy running, but I like the feeling of being done a run and being like, yeah, you fucking did that. So I'm going to count running in there, and that's kind of it. So for you, what's your favorite source of exercise? Or because you mentioned the MMA thing, which I didn't even know you did until this podcast.
I'm telling you, like I went like 3 times a week, and that was like and it was Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so I was like the starter of the starter pack. Okay. Like, I'm not even like, I'm telling you, when I saw Angel is the dude's name that he's coming on, I was like, dude, yeah, he already has fights and all these other stuff that he has his fight this weekend. And I was like, bro, like, I'm not even like near that. I just also went there because they gave me a good membership for a workout, and I love working out with the group. It just, it feels different when you work out by yorourself and when you work out with other people.
I would agree.
You feel like the competition and stuff. That's why I liked it. And I was like, I want to do it. And throughout the summer, I did it. But through that whole transition, that's also like I wanted to stay here. I wanted to live here. So I still had to figure and balance out my whole DCP life with this new life that I'm trying to create for myself. And I would say like my favorite exercises, I guess that would be one if I would still continue it. But I love jump roping. Like jump roping is like a good little
you told
like
me this, yeah.
And
did you always like jump like? Because
I think I knew I was good at it.
Okay, I used to try jump roping as a kid, and I was ass at it. I haven't tried to jump rope in probably a decade, so I want to know if I should actually give it another shot or not.
I think you should, bro. I think it's good, like HIIT workouts. You know? I don't know where your stances lie on that, but I think those are really good. I don't think long distance running is a good thing, and
really, at all.
I'm not saying at all. I'm just saying like for someone that. I think I've heard, and see, don't quote me on the shit. I just like I think I feel different because I feel so tired and achy, but I love doing 5Ks. That's what's so weird. I just don't do it a lot.
Now,
like, you know what I mean? Yeah,
but would you consider that like in like long endurance, like a 5K?
Yes, but like for people that do it all the time is what I mean. You know what I mean?
Like
is that
constantly.
Exactly. That's why I brought up the idea of HIIT workouts, is because if you kind of spontaneously do like jump rope 10 minutes, I feel like that does a lot more for...
It'll kick your ass, yeah.
Kick your ass, bro. Yeah. And that mentality I put in a 5K because I love, like I said, I love doing things with groups. And I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I want to go and I want to see what I can do in a 5K. And so I kind of don't prepare for it. I just go and run. And, literally, like, and that's a 20-minute workout for me.
Yeah.
And then from there, I feel so fatigued, so tired. but I don't do it all the time.
Right.
So HIIT workouts were really like essential for me. I ran a lot, and this is like when the idea that I was big. I was bigger when I started when I first started my journey, and I think I remember asking you the whole cut and bulking incident. I was cutting a lot, so I had to do a lot more of those types of workouts than eating and bulking up and doing a lot more like gruesome. Now I want to bulk up more. I want to like add more weight. But back then, that my whole goal was just to cut, to keep going with running and keep doing all that, like jump roping and doing all these different things. And I saw some benefits in that, but then once I got closer to like my energy levels, I feel like my energy levels would completely be depleted if I kept running long distance, you know? So I stopped doing it. And so I don't know, I felt a lot better knowing that I can do like sprints.
Yeah.
And do small things like that, then do like long distance, because then my knees start aching, my feet start aching, everything just starts aching, and I'm like, is this even good? Do I even want to do this anymore? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so I'm just kind of like, I think I found a good little like balancing point that I wanted to do, because I love doing all these active things all the time like that. I don't know if it's good for even a guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for anybody, it's like if you're constantly wearing yourself out, like I remember there's some Rogan clip out there that I watch like every 2 months where it's like, I forget who he has on, but someone said if you get a guy to do as many pull-ups as he can, say it's like 10 pull-ups, right? And then he's worn out. But you get another guy to do 5 pull-ups a day versus the guy that's doing 10 3 times a week. The guy that does 5 a day is doing 35 pull-ups compared to the guy that's doing 30.
Right.
And you multiply that kind of like by a year, who gets more workouts in. And that's how I kind of think about working out. So I think... I don't really do HIIT work. I do HIIT workouts in terms of I do the Stairmaster on days I lift. So I am.
But that beats your ass, though, right?
The Stairmaster will fucking
you up.
dominate you.
Right.
Yeah, it is like I oddly find it satisfying. Like it is me torturing myself on those stairs, bro. But it is once you're on that thing for 20 minutes and you are done.
Yeah.
You're drenched in sweat and you're like,
1,000%.
fuck, I did that on a high speed. Yes, sir. So I would consider that like my HIIT workout.
Yeah.
I would put it fast enough. I'll put it on like the 13, 14 speed, and I'm fucking
You're just going,
it.
bro.
Yeah.
I'm doing that right now with bicycling, like the little bicycle machine, and I'm just going at it. Like I'm just fuck it. Like I'm just going. I'm going, and I'm like, might as well. And I'm like, I guess I'm substituting those other workouts with this new HIIT workout. I don't know why, but it just intrigued the shit out of me, and I just wanted to do it. And I was like, even the elliptical, I'm just. I want to just get on that shit and just fucking
The elliptical scares me, dude. I've tried to use it a couple times and like I fly off every. I tried it 3 times. I think when I was bigger, I was like, "Fuck this! I'm going to the stairs." Yeah.
Okay, well, see, regardless of that, I think if it still whoops your butt, I think it's good. I think it's good, but like it's a very short time, but it hits really hard and it hits you like, "Fuck, man, I'm so tired." Like,
and your ass feels accomplished when it's done.
Yeah. So. I guess that whole mentality is like, I guess I like trying all these new workouts, but if I implement it in a way that I can try to like get a good like short burst of energy out, I think that's what's key, to be honest. I am a big believer on longevity, but I don't know if that's the same with like the idea of like doing like exercises for a long period of time. You know what I mean? Because longevity for me, I think that this is my kind of like interpretation is like you have a sustainability of still doing something active. That does not mean like still doing something like, I don't know why I'm just criticizing running, because I feel like if that's like your way to do it, then do it. But just know that I think there are some key things to know about like long distance running that isn't the same. Like it just like it doesn't hit the same as if you're doing sprints. And that's why when you see a long distance run and you see a sprinter in the Olympics, they totally have different sizes. You know what I mean?
Completely different.
And this is what I mean is that if you follow that sort of ideal of energy and running and trying to like imitate one, which one is the one that you feel like is the more like healthy, I guess. I'm not saying either one. They're both active and healthy-ish, but I want to kind of go for the sprinter because he looks more toned. He looks more physically like good than somebody that's long distance and kind of looks like lengthy and just like, that's the only kind of like downfall is what I'm saying.
That's a fair way to put it.
Yeah.
I fall in this sense. I like doing both. So I do hits like Stairmaster hard, days I lift, and then so I've switched it up. I do legs and shoulders the same day, then I do arms, then I do chest / back, and then that next day I do a run. So when I was big, bro, I tried running. I made it to like the 7-Eleven right around here. For those of you who don't know where the fuck I live, the 7-Eleven is right there. Like, it is super close, and my ass was tired. So now I run all the way down the outlets, and like each time I like run to the next object that I see. So now I know, okay, I'm 9 poles past that light by the outlets type thing.
But at that time, that was like your bigger stage, right? Like you were trying to do anything you could to just slim the fuck down.
Right,
like,
exactly.
And that had to do running. So that makes sense, and that's why I like what you're saying. But then later on, you start realizing, like, I can get probably the same intensity doing Stairmaster. And then
that's why I like doing both.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I also, before I was running, I did a lot of walking.
Right.
So I implemented the running early, and I would run to a certain point, but then I'd still walk another like 2 to 3 miles and then walk back here. So I think in the beginning, when I was like 260 pounds, I heard HIIT workout. I was like, no, fuck this.
Scared of it, I was scared of it too, bro.
Yeah,
like,
and I'm still kind of scared of. Like, some people say, I do this HIIT workout. We do 1,000 pull-ups. We do 1,000 push-ups. We run 7 miles, and then we come back here and we do sprint. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys on?
Like machines, man.
Yeah, no. Some people like Goggins is like on crack. So shit like that, like, almost intimidated me. So I was like, you know what? Let me just walk. And I think for someone. Like, I guess me and you are in a different category now of, like, we've lost pretty much most of the body fat that we want to, and now it's kind of like picking a body type that we want to try and attain. But for someone that's really just trying to shred body fat, I think going on a walk for an hour a day is the perfect start, because you get active. Yeah, you get active. You start seeing some progress pretty early on. You're like, oh, shit. And walking is enjoyable. You can put on a podcast. If you really want, you can watch a little Netflix show. With the Stairmaster today, I tried to watch Daredevil on Netflix, because everyone's like, yo, these Netflix Marvel shows are bomb, but I'm not really like a big Marvel guy. So I was like, let me try watching Daredevil, and like the opening scene was sick, but then my ass is tired already. I'm like, nah, fuck this, I gotta put Travis Scott on, like, I gotta get back into it. Exactly. So
and dude, 100%, man. Like, anybody that's kind of like looking at my story, don't imitate what I'm doing. Like, this is just like how my perspective started and where I am. Anything, like, I would tell anybody, just go and do something active. I think that's like the best thing for anybody to do, is just to do something that can kind of like make you sweat, make your heart rate go up, do something. Especially if you're trying to get into this weight loss journey, anything that can kind of help you, really get you like sweaty and your heart racing and it will get you moving. Something that will get you moving is ideal. And that sometimes is walking, sometimes is running, and sometimes is doing those things that like are hard, like running all the way to the 7-Eleven. Like those things will kick a bigger person's butt, but they know it's like that was a positive thing for their whole outlook and what they're trying to do. And like, for anybody out there, y'all just need to be like active, like find something. I mean, even if it's like an extracurricular thing like dancing, or like for me that is dancing, but for anybody else it could be like doing some recreational stuff, like man, I don't know,
you could just be hooping up with your boys.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just going out there and just doing something active, I think is better than just sitting and contemplating whether or not to do it, you know.
And I'm a big believer you have to do it every single day. I don't know how. Do you work out every day? Or
when I first started, yes.
Okay.
I did.
How about now?
Now, no. Now I'm like 3 to 4 days.
Okay. How do you feel different compared to working out every day? Do you like it more? Do you like it less? Do you see more progress? Do you see less progress?
So I'm more busy now, but that's because of my other life besides the fitness life. But I like it more because I think I can get a better workout in 45 minutes than I could like going back to the gym every single day.
Right.
And I don't even say like those people are like, what if you go to the gym every single day, that's you. But I feel like even just kind of now that I've narrowed it down and kind of not perfectionalize how my body type is and what I need to work on. Yeah. It kind of like narrowed it down. So I think that's what I like it better that way. Okay. So that's what I would say for that one. That's for anybody. Like, just if you have to go work out every day, go work out every day. Like, but this is mine. I like it better knowing, hey, from this time, cool, I'm gonna go work out, and it fits in my resume. Like my whole day's planned, so it's good that way.
I tried switching to that. I felt shitty. I don't know why. Like I feel like I have to. Well, put it from this. Most of the day anyway, I'm sitting at a desk either editing a video, unless I'm like on a shoot and I'm moving around. Yeah, then I'm getting like steps in and walking around. But I think I agree that maybe you don't have to work out harder. Like you don't have to hit the gym every day. But I do think there's something like if you could just get up an hour earlier and I keep doing the walk thing.
Yes.
But like if you're at a desk job, a 9 to 5, and you're sitting around all day, your body's hating you for that for sure.
And maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why you have to go work out every day. Yeah. But like right now, I'm a barista, and I'll move around all the time.
You're getting all those steps in all day anyway.
Exactly. And then also like being a drummer, it's still something active. I get a good sweat going, and I know I'm like,
I've seen Whiplash, man. I know how hard they go.
Like, that thing goes hard, bro. So. And those are the things that I'm saying. Like even the smallest things can get you active, and it's like if you implement that in your day to day, I think that's ideal. That could be a workout for somebody, and those things I'm not gonna tell somebody like that's not a workout. Like I'm like as long as you got a good pump and you got a good sweat in, why not? Like are you doing that every day? Yeah, just keep doing that shit. Like that's what I would say, and. Like maybe at Disney, like were you the same way, kind of like even when you were working at Disney? Because even then, like we were always out there in the sun.
Yeah, I was sweating a lot.
Exactly.
I'd say
that. But did you feel like that was a workout?
In the beginning, yes. In the summers, yes, because I was constantly moving. But that's the thing. Like you could work out like a maniac.
Right.
It all depends on what you eat too. Like Michael Phelps would burn like 10,000 calories a day, right? So he could eat whatever the fuck he wants.
100%.
I was probably burning like 2,000, but if I was still eating like 5,000, like this is what I'll get into for a little bit. I had a bad binge eating problem, bro. Like a terrible, like I would go to like three different, I mean, sometimes occasionally, like there was multiple times where I'd go to like 3 different drive-thrus, get like 3 different items and like just eat it in my car, like on the way home. And I was like just feeling gross after. And I did that shit a lot, like towards the end of my college program. Like I want to say from probably that chunk from September to December when it gets real busy in Disney. If you don't work at Disney, you don't even. I mean, I'm sure you could picture how busy it gets around here, but it's unfucking believable, like how much you're working during that like 4-month span.
100%, man.
And you don't have time, quote unquote, for the gym. You don't think properly about your food, and I would just like. That's really how I got back to being like my biggest. I want to say my biggest was probably like 270, 275, like freshman year of college.
Yes.
But this 260 that I was on back in March was probably the biggest I've been since then. So I don't know how so did you ever have like a struggle with that? Like how did I'm going to say this in the most polite way possible. How did you get big? Like
how did I get big?
Like if you had to account it to specific things, what did you have like a binge eating thing?
Some of it was that. Dude, and that's the thing. Like I'm a Mexican man. I love eating my food, and I think it's just like traditional. I don't even say generically, but like a lot of Hispanics are a little bit bigger, and not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that we eat a lot.
You guys have good food, bro.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like I love my food, and it's so hard because I was kind of the oddball, sort of. I had like 2 other cousins that were like they loved getting in shape and doing all that stuff, but I never took it serious because I was not that big yet. Yeah. But when I started getting big, I think it was like. I was trying to figure out better ways to eat, but one of them was going vegan. Man, kudos to you guys. Like, I can't do that. I can't.
I could not.
And I tried, man. I probably did it so wrong, but I tried to do it. Eat a lot of rice, beans, sort of like these black bean burgers, kind of like But then I started realizing that there's like a lot of like hormonal things also wrong with that. Like soy I don't think it's good for men. And that's like. Not saying, I don't know, y'all can probably disagree with it.
I don't know enough about soy to combat you on that in any capacity.
But I always felt so weak and so, like, I don't know, I needed something to kind of, like, get me going. And sometimes that wasn't the stuff I was eating. I was like, maybe it's this shit. I don't know what it is. But once I changed those eating habits, I was already too late. I was already big. I was already kind of, like, I had love handles. I had, like, man titties. I was, like... really just insecure about myself, and I was just like I had this like little double chin over here, and I was like, man, I hate this. So at a certain point I was like I was still in a relationship, and that was, I think that's why I was okay with it.
Yeah, because you're kind of like, oh, I'm fine. I don't need to really attract too many people.
Exactly.
Right now.
Like I was like still sort of getting my needs fulfilled, and that's a drawback sometimes, and it does get to somebody, you know, and it wasn't until after the fact that I was like, when the relationship was done, I was like, yep, I'm fat. Like, yep, I need to get myself back in to shape. And so that's what kind of sparked it. But I knew that I was like already trying to eat better, but it was too late because my energy level wasn't there. My discipline to go work out wasn't there. Nothing was there. So like I said, those things are kind of symbiotic with each other. Like, the discipline kind of goes with the healthy fitness living and kind of vice versa. And once I kind of figured out that I can go and just run a little bit, that kind of gave me that energy back. But I also had a lot of time on my hands. Now that I'm not like catering to that relationship anymore, I was like, yep, I need to get back into shape. And so once I did that, my whole view of like mental state, like mental changes and like hormonal things and all, I just started doing a lot more research, and then I think that's what kind of helped me kind of like, you know, mold my
that's what made you try vegan.
Yeah, no, dude, no, that's what made me try to do like try new things, like like maybe just eating meat a lot more. I don't know. I even just did fish for a little bit, and I was just like, but I love salmon, dude. That's the thing. I want sushi, all that shit.
Sushi.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But it makes you try new things, and I was not afraid to try new things, because at that point I was already at the lowest of the low. Like I was like mentally depressed. I was like not like it was just a mood. Like I was just depressed. I was like, man, I'm not getting any. I'm not like doing anything, and so I was just like, I need to fucking change this shit. So I like dedicated myself to this, and then, dude, you go on YouTube and you find like Alpha M and all these little workout channels. Yeah, dude, like they kind of like,
Hanley.
Yes, bro, Teach Hanley this and like kind of like, I'll give you these steps to kind of, and I was like, I'm listening. I have nothing to lose.
Oh, really? So, I think every dude that when he's insecure in his life hits the Alpha M phase.
Bro, and he's so good at it. Shit.
Is he? I haven't watched Alpha M in years, so I have no idea what he's up to.
It's totally different now, but like back then, you knew how his shit goes. Like he would give you like 6 easy things to kind of like work on your confidence, or 6 ways to, 30-day challenge, Manscaped, you know, all this other shit. And I think that's good for men to kind of do. And I think that kind of like, you kind of know if you're good at something, people stay with that shit. But sometimes after high school, that sort of like mental anxiety kind of hits a lot of guys. And so, yeah, that's what happened. I think it all kind of goes into like a domino effect, sort of. And if you don't have a lot of confidence in yourself, then you're not going to want to do anything. Yeah. And so I think that's also the reason why I started like going into this whole like fitness and health journey, was because that helped me a lot. Yeah, no, for sure. I still can't believe you tried vegan though. I did not know about it was in the relationship, bro. Like that was why you tried. That's vegan? Why I tried it.
I've dated 2 vegans, and I don't know. Not that I felt bad. Like I'm someone, I always thought about trying vegan. So this is what happened, right?
Gotta explain it, man. You gotta explain it now.
Well, no,
thanks for the beer too.
Anytime. Yeah, that's not even my White Claw. I don't know whose that is, but I had to go to a tarot card reader for work, and I was like, "Can I get my cards read real quick?" She's like, "Yeah, we'll do it for 10 minutes." And my boss was like, "Yeah, sure. Like, why not?" So I get my cards in, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you're definitely gonna be a vegan." I was like, now me, who doesn't believe in any of this shit, goes, "Oh really?"
I was about to ask you, do you believe in any of this shit?
No. Like people are like, "It's because you're a Sagittarius." I'm like, this doesn't fucking matter. Like,
what are you?
A Sagittarius.
You're a Sagittarius?
Well, yeah, dude, you're on my birthday down there. Yeah, yes, sir. What you mean? But
oh man,
yeah, I just like, I'll see someone that their birthday's the same day as me. I'm like, we're not the same person. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense, man. Here's the thing. I'm not going to tell somebody that they're wrong about this whole... There may be some truth. I don't know. But, there's a reason why I vibe with you. And maybe it's because you're Sagittarius. I don't know, Jesus. Bro. But maybe I'm the card reader like now. But no. I don't know, man. I find that sometimes that shit just goes way out of whack. And I'm like... But I use it and like... When I go out and meet people, like, what's your sign? Because that's the first thing that they look for now. It's so weird.
So you think you could gel with me just because I'm a Sagittarius? What are you?
I'm a Libra.
What month is that?
That's October.
October. Oh shit! Wait, was it your birthday? Oh yeah, it was your birthday.
Yeah. But like, I didn't celebrate it. I don't know. It was
what are the characteristics of a Libra?
Oh man.
Well, now you're just gonna list shit about yourself. You know what I mean? Like, here's the problem with astrology, right? Here's the problem. I did not think we were gonna talk about this. Here's the problem with astrology.
You brought up card reader, and I'm kind of like, what?
I didn't even get to the card reader part completely yet. I was just like, how do I put
I'm like,
this?
why did he go to a card reader?
No, yeah. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get back to that. The reason astrology is bullshit is because every time you look at when somebody posts some shit on their Instagram story, like, oh, this is because I'm such a Taurus. I'm like, it just says you like to talk. What you mean? Like, who doesn't like? What you mean? It's the most vague shit ever. It'll define anybody ever, depending on your mood. Like, there's times I like to talk. There's times I like to sit in my room and not talk to anybody. I don't know. Maybe that makes me a Sagittarius, though. That's what somebody will tell me. Or they'll be like, oh, that's because your moon's in Pisces. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Like, that's the thing. Like, they find that new excuse. Because I didn't know about this thing called co-star until, like, I brought it up. But, I don't know. People love talking about themselves, you know? And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, when I go and I meet new people, that's the first thing that kind of, like...
The first question you ask them?
No.
Oh, I was going to say.
I think it's a way to break the ice sometimes. And I like... when I was already brought up in conversation, they kind of like, what sign are you? And I'm like, oh, are you one of these? Okay. So they're like, have you done your co-star? And I'm like, I don't know what that is. And that's the next iteration of like your birth chart, your everything that you need to know about yourself. Where is your moon sign? Is it in this or is it in this? What's your Venus? Is that
what's your Venus, Johnny? Do you know? Oh, really? Oh, you know like that. Bro. See, I filled out the co-star to the best. I was like, they were like, what time were you born? I was like, I don't fucking know.
I didn't know what time. I literally...
Okay. Because everyone's like, how did you not know? I was like, what you mean? You know?
Dude, I was like, hey, Mom, don't worry about this, but you know what time... Like, you don't have to know, but you know what time I was born? And, like... I was with somebody there, and she was like kind of agging me to do it. And I was like,
Yeah.
All right, fine, I'll text her. And so I finally did, and she told me, she's like, perfect. So she did it for me, and I was like, I found out some shit about myself, and I'm like, is this really true? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, but it's like talking points, man. I don't know. They just love talking about that.
Olivia made me download. She's like, I need to know.
Insane, bro.
And I was like, okay, I think I was born at 1:56 p.m., but that might have been my sister. I don't know. Like, I'm not sure which one of us was born at that time.
But they're seeking the answers that they want to.
Well,
you know.
I feel like people that are super into astrology are people that also aren't super into religion, which is the craziest thing to me.
I'm not religious. I'm just spiritual.
Yeah, but also people...
I've said that so many times.
Like, I'm not religious or astrologist or whatever the fuck the word is. Astrology
it's
person.
It's a cult in itself.
Either way, it's just like people, like, be like, oh, religious people are crazy. And then they get mad at somebody because they're like, you're such a fucking Leo. And I'm like, what? It's the same shit. What are you talking about? But anyway, I'm at the tarot card reader, and she tells me, oh yeah, you're gonna be vegan. And I was like, well shit, I don't know. Like, if they nail Impossible Chicken, finally, I was just talking to Adam about this. I was like, I'll be there. Yeah. Like, I will switch to vegan if you can nail every meat. And I'm not, because the reason I was always put off by the Impossible Burger was because I had one of those veggie burgers like 10 years ago, and that shit was ass. And I was like, no, that's not a burger. That's terrible. But then, like, at Food and Wine last year, I had the Beyond Burger at the, wherever their Impossible Burger was. Shit was better than the normal burger they had. I was like, oh, shit, okay, you guys are up to something. But if you do this for ribs, you do this for cheesesteaks, you do this for chicken breast mainly, and you can nail the protein macros on that, I'll sign. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would sign up for
100%.
Yeah.
It's hard, man. Like, even the idea of dairy, like, I guess I think I'm lactose intolerant. I've never went to the doctor and really freaking figured that out.
Isn't it like 50% of people are or something?
Maybe.
It's like a stupid stat
something
that
like
people
that.
are.
I even heard Hispanic stats saying that more Hispanics are
really
lactose, and I was like, maybe that's true. I don't know, but I love drinking milk, and I love eating ice cream and having cheese on my pizza. Like, I can't explain that shit, but it tastes fucking good.
But do you feel like gross after? Not gross, but does like your stomach ache after?
Oh, yes.
Compared to other foods?
Yes. Like, it used to, but even then, like, I still eat ice cream now, and it doesn't affect me as much as it did.
Do you use protein powder? Like, do you make protein shakes?
Yes.
Does that bother you?
No. But,
I mean, like, do you use the isolate protein, though, where it's like the lactose-free one?
I do lactose-free. Like,
okay,
see,
maybe
I even, like...
Maybe that's what it is.
Exactly. I don't even drink, like, normal milk anymore. I drink oat milk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
How is oat milk? Is that good?
Bro, it's better than what I thought.
Better than what you thought?
Yeah.
But the way you just pitched it, though, it makes it still sound shitty.
100%. But see, that's also the thing. Like, when I started doing my due diligence on, like, all this, like omega 3s and all these, like, little micronutrients that you're taking in your body, like, I just saw, like, milk as being, like, oh, it's not probably not that good for you.
Yeah.
So then I switched to almond milk, and then I heard, well, almond milk's not that good for you. So I did more research, and I'm like, okay, so the best one's probably like flax milk and coconut milk, and then oat milk was up there too. And I was like, well, I like coconuts, and I use coconut, so I'm gonna switch to coconut oil.
Okay.
And then I went to coconut oil, and I was like, but there's no flavor, and I missed flavor, so I wanted to add butter back into my stuff.
Gotcha.
So it's like you try it for a little bit, but I was always okay with trying new things.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'm the same way.
Exactly. So it's like all that stuff was so easy for me to kind of like delve into, try to figure out like if this is what I want to do, this is not what I want to do, and I finally found out oat milk was the best one, and I used it. They have like extra creamy, original vanilla. They have all these new things. They're just getting really creative with like all these new alternatives, man. And I working as a barista, like I love that. Like I'm like, it makes me look like a fucking G. Just like, oh, what do you want? Easy.
Oh, the oat milk? Oh, yes, sir.
I got this.
2% fat-free oat milk? I got you. Whatever that even looks like.
I don't know, but like women have all these like terminologies for like all these like, can I get an extra shot of blah, 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 blah. And then
Starbucks is the most intimidating thing.
It is, bro. Like grande, lenti, and all this other stuff. I didn't know what that shit was. Can I get a small? And they're like, okay, you want to, I don't even know what the size is. What is the size?
I don't know. That's the problem. Like I've always wanted like, because I've surprised Olivia with like Chipotle at work, whatever, and I always want to like give her a coffee. I've asked her like five times what her Starbucks order is, and it's not like I just can't process what it means. Yeah, it's like why can't you just say like a large Dunkin' vanilla iced coffee?
Exactly.
Like, Starbucks makes it so fucking complicated that I'm like, you know what? Here, I'm gonna Venmo you $5. You go get a coffee by yourself. Like you know what you want. I'm like, what's that mean? She's like, oh, it means like.
Blah blah blah. Like,
espresso.
Like,
I was like, then don't just call it espresso. Maybe that's a bad example. I don't know,
bro.
I don't know Starbucks like
that. As a barista now, I started to realize this is what they fucking mean. Like macchiato is just a latte, and I'm like, all right, why don't you just ask
what
for
makes
a
it different than a latte?
Well,
anything?
What do you mean? Wait, say that one.
I don't know what I mean. That's the problem.
Like,
is it not the same at all?
It's the same thing.
Okay.
It's literally the fucking same thing, but they just give it these weird, bizarre names because they sound as cool as fuck and aesthetic, but I don't know, bro.
I don't know. I don't want the calories of like any sugary coffee. Like I like coffee, but I like black coffee.
Oh, dude, yeah,
and that's kind of it. I don't put any sugar or anything.
Did you ever like black coffee, or was that an acquired taste?
I used to hate it, and then when I worked at McDonald's, I had like, I think everyone that gets into coffee, I can't say everyone obviously, but I think 99.999% of people that get into coffee start off with like sugary coffee,
1,000%,
and are like into the ice, into the iced coffee. Because when I worked at McDonald's, I was just putting down the vanilla iced coffees with all the sugar. I was like, damn, this shit's actually good.
Yeah.
And then I eventually got used to drinking iced coffee without sugar, without creamer. I was like, this isn't bad. Oh, it's like no calories. That's good. And then I kind of I like black coffee now.
I did it just for the health reasons.
Just for the health reasons?
Just for the health reasons.
So you never even enjoyed it?
And hell no, I did not.
Do you enjoy it now?
I love it now, but like I love the robust taste. I love like trying all these different like grinds, like medium to dark roast, all these different. It's like it's a science in itself. It's kind of like why I like microbreweries and like all these different. There's just a different way to look at stuff now. And when I first started getting into coffee, I don't know about people, but like. I hated black coffee, man. I hated it, but they're just like, it's a food suppressor. It gives you really good caffeinated drinks, and that's something that you can implement into your intermittent fasting and then go into the teas.
Yeah, that was the big thing. They were like, you won't break your fast if you drink this. I was like, okay.
And then so I was like, okay, yeah, I'll try it. And so that's the reason why I got into it. I was like at first I was just kind of like getting so sick of it, bro. But I finally got like out of it. I was like, holy crap, there's actually like taste to this now, and I love this taste. But it was so like 3 to 4 months I think I got into it.
Yeah, you have to get used to it.
So used to it, bro. And then I got into teas, and then like that goes into a whole different term.
We were like, Johnny, what do you want to drink? He's like, yeah, you got any tea? I was like, nah, I'm sorry. That's one thing. Maybe I have to try tea again, because tea is kind of like how you were just describing coffee. I never liked hot, unsweetened tea.
Yeah.
But I liked sweet tea a lot.
Oh, 100%.
So
it doesn't love sweet tea.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's so fucking good. And then unsweetened tea is, I think, always been worse to me than unsweet coffee. Just like, I don't know. I like black coffee. Don't like unsweet tea. Maybe I don't know.
Man, call it a hipster thing.
It could be a hipster thing. I don't know, man. You're a barista now. You know, exactly, anything goes.
Bro. But that's the thing that I started learning. So yeah.
Hell yeah,
man.
I realized the topic I was gonna make today was how to avoid Christmas binging, and we completely got into like astrology. Okay, but that's okay.
Christmas binging. Then.
I was gonna ask you, because the one question I asked you was, did you ever have like a binge eating problem or anything like that? Right. And we kind of answered that, and then we got off topic a little bit. But that's okay. I like going off topic.
And you know, for anybody, I think it's so hard because it's so cold, and you just want to eat because it's kind of like a comfort thing. And some people just eat because they're bored, and so it's easier to do that during the holiday season. Should I tell people not to do it? No, but I'm just saying, kind of like know that you're doing it so that way you can get out of it later on.
Yeah.
And starting off the new year, I think that's kind of like a key thing to remember, especially just getting out of this whole 2020 like fiasco that we're going through. Like, 2020 really just the not just blaming it on that shit, but like not having a job for like the longest time after it got cut, and then like it just fucked me up mentally, bro. Like it fucked up all my gains. It fucked up like my mentality was so out of whack, and all I was like, man, I hate this feeling, and it really fucked it up. It really fucked up like the what I thought was true, which was like, I need to be in shape, I need to be doing this, and I need to be, you know. But now that I'm kind of like back into like this sort of grind with like the podcast, drumming, music, everything, it kind of like, all right, I need to get back into this stuff. Yeah. So once I kind of got into that, I think people need to know, like, yeah, you shouldn't stop like finding that momentum to keep getting better, and don't find that excuse that just because it's the new year. And did I talk to you about this already? Like the New Year resolutions, how maybe they're kind of not true. Like the New Year, like I'm like, set this New Year resolution.
Well, yeah, I used to make New Year's resolutions all the time. I was supposed to have a six-pack for like the past 12 years, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, dude, how long until that thing breaks? Like maybe 2-3 weeks, and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna go back to my normal thing. There's no right time to start it. You just got to start it.
I agree.
And that's kind of like what I want to tell like a lot of people now, is just don't wait till the new year. You can just start like right now, like like tomorrow.
2021 already began in my book.
Exactly, bro. And so no, even then, this is how I kind of started with my idea of like, you can't perfectionalize when to start. It's just because if you don't start now, you're not going to want to start it at all. And 2021 is a perfect time to start, but it's also a perfect time to start right now. So always remember that when you are afraid to do something and don't want to pursue it. It's just like, dude, time's relevant, and I think that right there, you're not going to have a lot of time.
Time is relevant, man. Yeah, time is relevant. You're going to die. We talked about that on your podcast before.
You've talked about, I think about dying all the time.
I meditate on death, like, not meditate on death. I don't sit there like the guru and like, no, none of that. But I do sit down. I'm like, all right, you could die in a car crash today.
100%.
All right, are you going to do something you enjoy? Okay, let's go do that thing.
Exactly.
That's what kind of gets me to do important shit every day. Yeah, I guess, in a way. But, yeah, I mean, I guess in terms of avoiding binge eating during Christmas, for one, don't be like feeling you're like beating yourself down because you're having Christmas cookies that your mom made. Like, Christmas happens once a year. Like, at the end of the day, what gets us fat is doing the wrong thing 365 days a year, as opposed to eating the wrong thing every once in a while a year. You know, like, it's all about having a good relationship with food. You gotta be able to pick yourself back up when, like, for example, I'm going home the 23rd to 28th. Not that I'm gonna go full on eat 20,000 calories a day, but I'm like, okay, I'm definitely gonna go to my pizza place. I'm definitely gonna go to this restaurant with my boys. My mom's probably gonna make some bang Christmas cookies and like a ham and shit. Like, there's gonna be unhealthy shit around.
Right.
I'll eat whatever. Not crazy like binge eating, puking after every single day type eating, but I'll eat what I want. I'll go on like a walk every day because I can't run in Jersey. It's too fucking cold. I tried doing it over Thanksgiving break. I was like, oh hell nah, I can't do this. My lungs fill up. So I'm gonna go on a walk. Just do that. And then when I come back, just, all right, we're back on the grind. Let's fucking go.
Do you think it's easier because we already found that grind though? Like, I don't want to tell people like go and just enjoy it if you're already kind of like already second guessing yourself and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Let me put it this way too. You also have to. There's some preparation that goes in there. I'm coming from that perspective where like, if I know I'm eating like Christmas Eve, right?
Right.
I have family over, a bunch of sugary shit. I won't eat until that night. Like, I'm not gonna eat a breakfast and a lunch and then go eat all this shit. I'm just gonna wait out until the fast during the day, do like an OMAD type thing,
Right.
just only eat at night.
Right.
So stuff like that. If I could fit a protein shake in there, so I get my protein up for the day, you know, stuff like that.
That's ideal for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So enjoy the 5 days, but you can't have these 5 days every 5 days. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think that's the best way
Yes.
I could put it.
I think, because that question that you asked me, I'm like, I went on a more generic basis more than anything, but it's so hard because not everybody's in that same mentality, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that we're already out of that. Like, we can enjoy it. We can enjoy these things because we've already kind of stapled our like mental state, our physical state, everything to the point where we can enjoy all these things that we have coming up, knowing that we can always get out of it. And that's the thing. Like, I don't want to tell somebody like, hey, don't go enjoy your things, because maybe you're right. Maybe you are like 300, 400 pounds and Christmas is coming up. Should I wait until next year to do it? I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's a different thing.
See,
I think if you are grinding now,
right,
take like I'm doing 5 days because that's how long I'm going home, but say Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, you eat whatever you want and not too much of it, I think that's fine.
Yes.
As long as you're back on your shit the 26th.
Right.
Now, if it's the 26th and you're not on your shit, and all of a sudden it's January 15th and you're still not on your shit, then it's the problem.
This is why that question is harder than it seems, because I'm like, I could just tell somebody like, hey, yeah, just make sure you get your shit together after, you know, starting a new year. Let's do it. Mm-hmm. But, you know, that's so hard. I think it all starts with your mental state. Like, this is a fucking muscle. Like, you gotta really discipline yourself to not do that shit, so that way later on you can enjoy it, because you know you're gonna feel bad later on if you don't get back on your grind. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the better answer to kind of like to view, is that God should have that discipline to do it. You gotta have that. You have to have that discipline to kind of like say, this is gonna be good for around that time. But you know what? I already told myself, committed myself that after this, I have to get back on my grind. That's why it's easier said than done for like people like us. That's when I'm like, no, like I don't want to give that leeway to the people that are contemplating whether or not to start. Yeah. But at the same time, hey, that's on you, man. You do you.
It's all mental strength.
It's all mental strength.
It's all mental strength.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
One thing I want to talk to you about real quick,
go ahead.
because we're hitting an hour. But
oh my God, bro! See what I'm saying?
Johnny's got a podcast too. You know,
bro,
the Slice of Life.
Yes.
We're both in. I mean, you've been doing the podcast thing longer than me. I had an old podcast that didn't have many followers. But what do you like about podcasting, and what makes you keep going? Because obviously we're not like a Joe Rogan type thing where we're getting paid to do this. You know what I mean? So what motivates you to keep doing podcast episodes? Can
I say one thing though? And I listened to almost all your episodes, right?
There's only 4, so
yeah.
This is 5.
This is gonna be 5. But what I like that you said, it was the one, I don't remember who was on here, but one subscriber is equal to someone.
That's
likes
the one
on
I
Instagram.
with Justin.
Yes.
Yeah.
It rings so true, man. I liked what you said, because it's so unwritten. It's so like no one really talks about that stuff. And yeah, we live in a more Instagram aesthetic world, but what we like is building. We like starting stuff from nothing and then wanting to create something, and that you can do that with Instagram. But there's something about YouTube, and that's how I started, and that's why I kind of keep going with it. Is that something about that kind of like rings so true, and it's very authentic, and that's what I like about it, is that it's very authentic. And it can get inauthentic, but I think that's where I started like drawing the line of like who I am and what I like to do. I am not the type of person that goes on and what's up guys, welcome back, and I'll try to do it on YouTube as a vlogger. I cannot do it. So
it's too fake for me.
It's too fake, bro. And then once I started realizing I liked doing those sort of things and kind of like informing people, but I also like different perspectives, that's what kind of keeps me going. I love to conversate. Like, I don't have to have set things and points to talk about. I just like to talk to people. I love to talk to people about different conversations, and that sometimes is hard to do if you can't understand both perspectives, whether that's on the political sense and like. Well,
that's why I kind of sorry for interrupting, but that's why I kind of envy your thing, because I like to stick to more filmmaking, business, and
but you're good
fitness. But that's the thing. Like, I feel like I know enough or have experienced enough in those two things where I can have like more of a fluent conversation, like an interview thing. Because say, for example, I have a priest on, right?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a priest on, but
no, but you know
actually, maybe it's changed my mind. Maybe an interesting conversation will come out of that. But either way, like, I wouldn't genuinely be interested enough in a conversation about. Maybe I would actually. Maybe priest is a bad idea.
It just depends, man.
It depends, but I'm kind of like, it's hard for me if I bring someone on that is into something passionate, but I know nothing about. It's hard for me to bring them on. Unless I'm just talking like pure, how do you get the business thing running? Because it's hard for me to connect with you 100%, in that way. Yeah. So how do you deal with that? If there's someone that does something that's completely unrelated to what you even find relatively interesting.
Right. Here's the thing, and I think it's just because you already found, I think your avenue of how you look at it literally strengthens what you're talking about. When I do it, I think I try to talk about whatever that person is saying because I can make it intriguing. Yeah. And I'm not even just trying to like boast about it. I'm just saying like there's a reason why people think that this person is doing something good or whatever. I'm just like, let me understand that. And they can do it in a funny way, like that dude that you're talking with or like you're working with. He does it in an awesome way. And I just know, I'm like, let's see if I can. Do I have the editing skills for that? No, but I can try to like leeway into, you know what? I can try to make this guy look better than what he actually looks like. You know, gotcha. and I think that's what kind of like helps me. Is I like building people up.
Yeah, that's using more of like a platform to be like, oh, here's this person.
Yes, man. And like I said, I think with more perspectives, I think it kind of like makes you more interested in just life, and I think. Really just straying away from things that aren't like the things that you're used to is not saying it's a bad thing, but I think it can kind of really hinder your ability to want to learn about yourself a lot more. And I think that's a good thing to do because now more than ever, I think it's just the world itself right now is just like clamoring for like a middle ground, I guess you could say. And that's how I see it. But that's what kind of gets me going, man. I just love perspective. I love looking at people and just saying like, is this what do you mean by this? And so like that right there kind of like makes me like, wow, okay, I didn't look at it that way. That's really cool. Did you ever think about it this way? And then they give me like a whole different spin on it, and I get interested in my own thoughts. You know what I mean? Like Mitch, he dude, that dude can talk like for hours, bro. Of
course, he's Mitch.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that dude can talk for hours, and I was just like, that's so cool. Yeah. Like, and then I would just question more things, and then this dude has more shit coming out of his brain, and I'm like, I never want to tell him that he is wrong because he's not. But I just want to see how far he can go before I'm like, okay, let's bring it back down. And gotcha. And like that's why I'm like, I like having those perspectives, and I think that's what gets me going. Is that deep down inside, I like to talk. So if I bring in somebody else to want to talk about these sort of things, I think that's what kind of like would kind of blossom new avenues, even for that person. Like Devin, dude, he's just like, man, I got to really look at some other stuff because I didn't think about this until I actually came on here, and I'm like, wow, cool. I did something, right? Like,
Devin's my next guest. We're recording one tomorrow. I was going to do you guys back to back tomorrow.
Oh, but then, well, see, look, there you go.
Because I'm planning ahead, man. Because if I'm going to be home for Christmas and I can't bring all my gear, I'm like, all right, let me record 2 this weekend.
Exactly.
And then drop yours and then drop Devin's today.
That's what I'm saying, dude. And so, like, after that, I was like, bro, that's cool. I didn't ever thought about this way. And so it's just really cool because a lot of people can't talk like that. And I think it's like I said, very inauthentic for people to do in short things, but what I'm learning from your podcast is like, yeah, you need some short things. Like you need some like shorter clips to kind of do this stuff. And dude, this is awesome. Like I love the setup.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
So this is cool.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming on. Dude, I appreciate that for sure. This is Johnny, everybody. Johnny's a really nice guy. I like him a lot. Johnny, where can we find, like, what do you want to plug? You have your podcast. Where can we find your podcast at as you drink a White Claw?
It's like water, bro.
I mean, it is water. it is pretty much water. Are you gonna be able to drive safe after one White Claw?
Oh, jeez, dude. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just kidding. But let's see. Where can everybody find me? The podcast can be found on video on YouTube. Everywhere that you can pretty much find music or podcasts. My podcast would be on the Spotify, Google, Apple. all those platforms are right there. You can find me on my social media at Johnny Be Good. Yeah, Johnny Be Good _13 on Instagram. I don't really get on my Facebook a lot, but Jonathan Misal Juarez, that's my Facebook too.
Okay. You want some friend requests coming in?
No, just look
okay.
at my podcast.
And the podcast is The Slice of Life, too.
Slice of
in
Life.
case you're like, where's Johnny B13's podcast? It's A Slice of Life, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
it was Johnny Reviews, but now it's
changed. Hey, I used to be a few mix reviews, man, and I changed this. So
yeah, dude, we just movies and then going into like new things, man.
Doing a podcast, just documenting what I look like. Because it will only be 24 this one time.
Oh gosh,
you know, it'll be cool to look on like 20 years, 24 years from now. Who knows what this looks like?
See.
But yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for looking at our faces. If you're not on YouTube, we are on YouTube. You could come look at our faces. We got 2 cameras going. It's in my apartment. It's pretty shitty, and it's getting the job done for now.
It gets the job done.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we need. If you're watching on YouTube and you're on the go, you can listen on iTunes, Spotify, Google, all the places you can find a podcast. I think, hopefully. Nice. If there's not one, if you're looking like it's not on this one, let me know, and I'll figure that out. But Johnny, thanks for coming on, man. Now I end every podcast asking the guest what my outro should be. What do you think my outro should be for this podcast?
Outro? Oh, wait, what's that again?
Like outro? Like what should my closing slogan be?
What do I do? I do this, right?
What you got? What you got?
Oh man, dude, you should be like hasta luego, and then just kind of like, I don't know, find something that would be like, what? That doesn't make any sense. But you know, at some point, you make it make sense.